Ananta Prabhavisnu. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Vaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Vaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Vaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Vaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So, this evening we'll read a little from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 17. This chapter is entitled Pastimes of the Lord in His Youth. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is the nectarine story of the activities, pastimes, and instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation of God, incarnation of Krishna, who appeared 500 years ago in Bengal, in India. He appeared in order to establish the Sankirtan movement. Sankirtan means congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. This congregational chanting process is the ideal means for self-realization in this present day and age, which is known as Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means age of quarrel and hypocrisy, that constantly men, out of ignorance, are fighting with one another due to being absorbed in the bodily concept of life. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord, explains, we are not the body, we are all spirit souls. We are all eternal spiritual beings. Due to forgetfulness of God, we have come to this material world, and here we have taken on the material body. So when the soul takes on the material body, he identifies with that body. So sometimes that identification becomes very strong, such as we have a very graphic example in the world today, in particular today. This seems to be starting war, because some people are firmly fixed in conception, I am Iraqi, I am the body, I am Iraqi, and somebody else, he's thinking I'm something else. So, due to this misidentification with the body, this misunderstanding, people are harassing one another and creating so much disturbance for the whole world. It's a very unfortunate situation, but we can expect it to happen, not only this time, but again also, just as previously in this century there has also been World War I, World War II, like this. So, this is the nature of Kali Yuga. Ignorance, hypocrisy, quarrel, war. So the Lord, He gave this process of chanting the holy names of God as effective remedy for this Kali Yuga. But this remedy, it has to begin with the individual. In order to create peace in society, peace in the world, each individual has to be peaceful within himself. If one is disturbed, if one is agitated and angry, then he will cause trouble for others. But if a person is peaceful and satisfied within himself, then he can live harmoniously with others. It's quite natural. He'll like to live harmoniously with others. So by chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, one can develop his God consciousness. Because Krishna or God has endowed these holy names, imbued these holy names with His transcendental potency. So these are not ordinary sound vibration, but they are spiritual or transcendental sound vibration. And they bring us directly in contact with the Supreme Lord Himself. So in this way, a devotee who chants Krishna's names, he practically realizes, I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul, and I'm the eternal servant of God. So my business in this life is not to disturb others or harass others, but it is actually to help others by teaching them also to come to the spiritual platform of life. So in this way, a devotee acts for the benefit of the whole world. And in this way, he pleases Krishna. And because he pleases Krishna, he also becomes satisfied at heart. But if one tries to enjoy in this world without Krishna, forgetting Krishna, one does not feel satisfied. One simply feels frustration. And from this frustration comes anger, violence, etc. So this Krishna consciousness then, it is the cure or remedy for all ills. By striking at the very heart of the problem, you see, enabling us to find the real happiness, real bliss, which is available in life. So it is very easy to obtain if one strives by the proper means. And the Supreme Lord Himself is given this simple formula, peace formula of chanting the holy names. So 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna appeared and spoke the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord in His original form. He told everyone, you worship me and offer homage to me. Become my devotee and thus you will come to me. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. But due to Kali Yuga, people were forgetful of Krishna. Therefore the Lord appeared again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this particular incarnation, He took the role of a devotee. He did not say worship me, He said worship Krishna. So He set the example how to worship Krishna. And in His childhood, He was performing many unusual activities or pastimes which identify Him as the incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And later on, He started the Sankirtan movement, the movement of congregational chanting of the holy names. So the devotees used to go out in procession chanting these names. So this first began with an unusual incident. Prior to that, they were chanting Hare Krishna mantra within a closed courtyard, closed area. And they were experiencing great bliss and ecstasy. But once the Mohammedan ruler of the area, that area is called Navadvip. Navadvip is on the banks of the Ganges, something about 125 kilometers north of Calcutta. So that time was Mohammedan rule, and the Mohammedans, they like to try to suppress any kind of Hindu religious activity, any kind of chanting of the names of God. So the local magistrate was called Kazi, or Chand Kazi. And one day he went to the place where devotees were performing kirtan, and he broke the Madanga drum. See, they're playing these drums. So he took some drums and smashed them and said that from now on, I forbid this chanting. You cannot chant anymore. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about this, he became very disturbed, upset. So he decided to organize a public protest, mass demonstration, mass civil disobedience. So the Kazi had forbidden any chanting in the city, but Lord Chaitanya brought out thousands of devotees and had them chant and dance through all the streets of the city, bearing torchlights. So finally they went through every part of the city and they came to the house of Kazi himself. So then the people, they were agitated. You see, they wanted that the Kazi should explain himself. Why is he forbidden this chanting? So at that time, the people were making a roaring sound, and this loud sound of the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra made the Kazi very much afraid, and he hid himself within his room. Hearing the people thus protesting, murmuring in great anger, the Qazi would not come out of his house. So here Srila Prabhupada has written purport. The Qazi's order not to perform Sankirtan could stand only as long as there was no civil disobedience. Under the leadership of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord, the chanters increasing in number disobeyed the order of the Qazi. Thousands assembled together and formed parties, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and making a tumultuous sound of protest. Thus the Qazi was very much afraid, as naturally one should be under such circumstances. In the present day also, people all over the world may join together in the Krishna consciousness movement and protest against the present degraded governments of the world's godless societies, which are based on all kinds of sinful activities. The Srimad Bhagavatam states that in the age of Kali, thieves, rogues, and fourth-class people who have neither education nor culture capture the seats of governments to exploit the citizens. This is a symptom of Kali Yuga that has already appeared. People cannot feel secure about their lives and property, yet the so-called governments continue, and its ministers get fat salaries, although they aren't able to do anything good for the society. The only remedy for such conditions is to enhance the Sankirtan movement under the banner of Krishna consciousness and protest against the sinful activities of all the world's governments. The Krishna consciousness movement is not a sentimental religious movement. It is a movement for the reformation of all the anomalies of human society. If people take to it seriously, discharging this duty scientifically as ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the world will see peace and prosperity instead of being confused and hopeless under useless governments. There are always rogues and thieves in human society, and as soon as a weak government is unable to execute its duties, these rogues and thieves come out to do their business. Thus the entire society becomes a hell, unfit for gentlemen to live in. There's an immediate need for a good government, governed by the people with Krishna consciousness. Unless the masses of people become Krishna conscious, they cannot be good men. The Krishna conscious movement that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started by the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra still has its potency. Therefore people should understand it seriously and scientifically and spread it all over the world. The Sankirtan movement started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhyakanda, 23rd chapter, beginning with verse 241, which states, "My dear Lord, let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet." Following Lord Chaitanya's chanting, all the devotees reproduced the same sound as he chanted. In this way the Lord proceeded, leading the entire party on the strand roads by the bank of the Ganges. When the Lord came to his own ghat, or bathing place, he danced more and more. Then he proceeded to Madai's ghat. In this way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord, who was known as Vishvambar, danced all over the banks of the Ganges. Then he proceeded to Barakona ghat, the Nagariya ghat, and traveled through Ganganagar, reached Simulia, a quarter at one end of the town. All these places surround Sri Mayapur. After reaching Simulia, the Lord proceeded towards the Qazi's house, and in this way he reached the door of Chand Qazi. So Navadvip actually means 9 islands. That place has got 9 different divisions. One of them is Mayapur, Sri Mayapur Dam, which is the actual birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mayapur Dam is the headquarters for this Sankirtan movement. Srila Prabhupada explained that during the rainy season there is flooding in Mayapur, and this signifies that the Sankirtan movement will overflood the entire world, beginning from Sri Mayapur. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, our founder of this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, has established the headquarters of International Society for Krishna Consciousness at Sri Mayapur, and there's a very large center there where devotees can go at any time, but especially on the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya, and participate in huge Sankirtan chanting of the holy names of Krishna. So here, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was protesting against the demoniac order of the Qazi. He was protesting against this a useless government which was stopping people from making spiritual advancement. And thus he brought out this very large party, chanting and dancing. And beginning from that time, he expanded this Sankirtan movement more and more. He went all over India in the same way, holding massive Sankirtan processions and functions and inspiring everyone to chant Hare Krishna. So this Padayatra program, it is following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya, going in every town and village and performing Sankirtan, dancing and chanting very ecstatically and inviting everyone to participate. So anyone who participates in this Sankirtan process will receive eternal spiritual benefit. Even if one chants just a few times, he is making spiritual progress. What to speak of one who joins full time and always engages himself in regularly chanting Hare Krishna mantra every day. So the power of the Sankirtan movement was so great that the Chandkazi, he was terrified. But of course, Lord Chaitanya summoned him to come out of his house. And then they held discussions about Krishna conscious philosophy. Especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was questioning why the Mohammedans kill cows, because the cow is compared to our mother. The cow is like our mother because she gives us milk, and bull is like our father because the bull is used for producing grains, foodstuff to feed us. At least in India, this is common way to use the bull. Unfortunately, in this country, they are slaughtering the animals mercilessly. You see, having so many large slaughterhouses and meatworks. So another purpose of the Padayatra is to take the bulls to every town and village to demonstrate the importance also of cow protection. That just as you wouldn't kill your mother, you would protect your mother, so in the same way we must protect the cows, and we must also employ the bulls. You see, not just slaughter them, but use them. It's like we're using them for transportation, and one can also use them as in our farms for plowing the fields. So in this way, Padayatra, it has got different purposes: to spread the holy names for the benefit of one and all, to please Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by expanding the Sankirtan movement, to demonstrate the importance of cow protection, and to generally enliven and inspire everyone with the prospect of development of love of God. We are looking in this world for some kind of love and happiness, but it is very difficult to find, because all our relationships in this world are temporary. But our relationship with God, that is eternal. So if we can find the means to awaken that relationship, it is a dormant relationship, but it can be reawakened. So if we can find the means to do that, then that will enable us to taste the perfection of human life. So it's very easy through this chanting to reawaken that love for God. So in this way, this Padayatra program is a very important program for everyone, for the devotees, because naturally they feel inspired to distribute Krishna consciousness, which is bringing them so much happiness, and also for people in general, so that they can get the opportunity to understand the process of Sankirtan and how easy it is to practice and how they can apply it in their day-to-day lives. It is not that one has to join the movement and full-time engage himself in preaching. If one wants, of course, that is very good. But if not, one can stay in his own home, and he can also practice Krishna consciousness, chanting with his friends, and in this way also expand the message of Lord Chaitanya. Many, many centers have been started of our Krishna consciousness movement by persons who are just living regular lives in different towns, villages, cities, in different parts of the world. But they have taken up Krishna consciousness, and within their own homes, they have taught their friends about this process. They have studied the books of Srila Prabhupada, and in this way, they have also become advanced in Krishna consciousness. So Chandakazi, his arguments about meat eating were defeated by Lord Chaitanya, and he actually became converted. Even though he was a very hard-hearted person, he became converted to the Sankirtan movement, and then he pronounced that in that area where he was governing, there would always be Sankirtan, not only in his lifetime, but in the lifetime of all his descendants. You see, so today one can go to Mayapur, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is going on full swing. There's also that place, the house of the Chandakazi. This is one of the holy places that one can visit in Mayapur. That reminds us of the victory of the Sankirtan movement over the demonic and evil forces. So today these demonic and evil forces have become very powerful, but devotees, they should become even more determined to establish this spiritual principle, the principle of service to God, chanting the holy names of God, and as predicted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this chanting will increase more and more. It will go to every town and every village, and in this way, gradually, the demonic tendencies of people will be changed into devotional or spiritual tendencies, and they can relish the real pleasure of the human form of life. And after leaving this world also, they can go back to the spiritual world. This is the goal, ultimate goal of Krishna consciousness, to go back to the spiritual world and live there eternally engaged in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. So any question? Anyone would like to ask a question? Or make a comment? No question?
This movement is the will of the Lord. Why is it so slow in taking effect?
Well, not so slow. This movement only been spreading in the Western world for 25 years. Since Srila Prabhupada came to New York in 1965, when he first came, and he established a society in 1966. So since that time, we've seen it spread to over 100 countries in the world. And there are hundreds of thousands of persons chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So, of course, this age is very materialistic. So people in general are not so inclined for God consciousness. We can see that even churches, they're closing, or they're being used as factories, warehouses, cinemas. So in such an age, one wouldn't expect that people will just, give up all their materialistic activities and take to spiritual life. So because of this conditioning, it will be gradual, but still, Sankirtan movement has made a lot of progress. I get the chance to travel in many countries, and actually we can see that there are devotees all over the world. Practically you can go any country of the world, except a few very demoniac countries, but most countries, and you can find devotees there, you can stay with them, you can take prasadam, Krishna conscious food stuff. You can engage in this chanting. Recently, we went to Soviet Union, and the Sankirtan was spreading very fast there. more than, I think, now 50 centers around the country. And last year distributed more than 1 million books, hardbound books, and more than 1 million softbound books also. So people are very eager to take to Krishna consciousness. So of course we're used to espresso everything in this present day and age, but we shall not expect that overnight the whole world will become Krishna conscious, but steadily we go on with this preaching activity, just like now this Padayatra. This will introduce many persons to Krishna consciousness and give them the opportunity. So it is like planting seeds which will fructify in due course of time.
The materialist, of course, could argue, well, if you look at something like McDonald's, I mean, that's been in existence probably around about the same length of time as the Krishna consciousness movement, and that's also spreading in the Soviet Union, it's also spreading in China, and it's also spreading in every town and village.
That's also, well, we can expect that age of Kali is also going to progress or expand its influence. So on the one side we'll see that people are going to become more and more degraded as Kali Yuga goes on. But at the same time, those who take to Krishna consciousness, they will become immunized against the effect of Kali Yuga, and they will become spiritually advanced. So that way there will be polarization in a sense, and the divine and demoniac natures will become more and more evident. So it is Kali Yuga, it is age of quarrels, so there are going to be all kinds of horrible things. They are predicting that in this war it will be very horrible, very gruesome, unbearable to even see. So this is, we should not be surprised, but as devotees we should go on steadfastly. If one takes shelter of Krishna's name, then he cannot be disturbed by the sinful activities of people in general.
I should say this word because speed up at the same time.
Of course, yes, we can in one sense take everything as being sanctioned by the Lord, because unless the Lord allows, you see, nothing can happen. But at the same time, people have got their individual desires, and it's because of misusing their desires that they're creating this situation. But in this way, they're going to damage their societies and their lives so much that you can say this will put fear of God into them. So usually when people get into danger, then they become more serious about spiritual life. They become more inclined to take shelter of God. So sometimes such kind of catastrophes are necessary. Also, many demoniac persons will be eliminated in this fighting, you see. So in one sense that will reduce the number of demoniac persons. This demoniac persons, they're harming each other, they hate each other so much that they'll counteract one another. And so in this way, that will create a situation in which the Sankirtan movement can spread even better. Actually, these Arab countries are very difficult to preach there because people are very fanatical. But Muhammad, he actually predicted, I think after some 1400 years, that this Islamic religion would decline. So now we're beginning to see this actually going to take place. And this will give opportunity for Krishna conscious religious principles to spread even in those places. Devotee takes that everything ultimately is Krishna's arrangement.
Maharaj, I think it's important to note also that in every place that we've been to, we've given a Bhagavad Gita to the mayor of each town. And the immediate reaction of practically all of them has been that I'll put this in the library so that everybody can come and read and stuff. From that, the devotee should be greatly encouraged to see that there's people go to the mayor, like the head of the town, and that's their desire that people come and read Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, very good point. Also, we see that all the newspapers are very interested in the devotees' activities. Very nice photographs and articles in all the newspapers. Devotees have been on the radios, television. People are looking for some higher happiness, so here's something genuine and something tangible which anyone can practice. So it's nice to see that all the newspapers are engaging in helping to spread Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So we should expand our activities more and more, see, so that more and more persons can become engaged. We can have 10 Padayatras going around.
I had one experience here in Arrowtown where I met one lady. She was a member of the Jehovah's, and I was preaching to her, and she was saying she was going to give her life to Jehovah, so I asked her what Jehovah looked like, and she couldn't tell me. And she could explain the attributes and the qualities, but not the personal form. So after preaching to her half an hour on Bhagavad Gita, she decided that she's inspected the Jehovah's Bible. And I left, and I was standing at the door, I was preaching to one man who was walking the street, and after preaching to this man for 5 minutes, she came up behind this man who was listening to him, and then this man left, and she said, "How much is it, brother?" I said, "Well, you can just do some donation," and she was a very small shareholder. She would all these quotes about Jehovah, and she took that Bhagavad Gita and gave some donation of it. So it was a realization that even people who are actually following so-called religious processes actually can change, the things like what you can
Any other devotees have any incidences, nice stories, preaching activities? Who's distributing books? How many devotees distributing books?
A lot of devotees distribute prayers. A lot of
Rather when we out on a little car, there's a little table around here somewhere. They went shop to shop. We were rather. They went down the road pushing this car. A donation box. I like that best.
They were saying what Jagamala came back, they were playing around, and I said, "Why don't you boys do something useful? They go and give out some books." So off they went, and about 10 minutes later, quarter of an hour, Jagga came back and said, "Oh, we just went into a bookshop and there was Christian there, and they were telling us that Christian is not God and we should take the Bible." And I said, "What did you say to them?" And they said, "We just said Christian is so God." Completely convinced. I mean, his mind wasn't big one bit. He was just people would say he knows it. Christian is so God. And then he turned around and he said, "Oh, they should sell it." There was a bookshop. He said, "They should sell these books in the shop." That's why you should go back and tell them that.
I think there was one other boy they met, and the Jagamala stole this boy's bike. He went for a ride around the block, so while he was going horse there, and he started giving up. So they actually made it the Prabhupada also says that when there's a war, it'll be a good opportunity to preach. So it's getting that realization when we're going through the towns, because people are in a lot of anxiety. The devotees are in ecstasy. And now the Karmis are really noticing there's some difference between, the devotees and the Karmis. The Prabhupada says we can utilise this opportunity for preaching. So having this Padayatra at this particular point, you've got to be careful what you've done this arrangement, because there's so much anxiety in the atmosphere in people's minds. But then we come through and we chant, and people are really noticing the Hare Krishna. So the response is not just Prabhupada said, it's like
It's a fact, because there's demonic activity which is going on there, in that area, Gulf area. It's very demonic activity, very, very demonic, because the living entity, he takes birth in a particular body, and ordinarily he should be able to live out his life in that body and then proceed to a next body like that. But this is a big interference in the natural arrangement of the laws of nature, natural arrangement of God. So it's very sinful. And of course they're broadcasting all the time news, in newspapers, on the television. So this anxiety, this demoniac influence is actually being spread into everybody's home, into everybody's life. So naturally they're all very much affected by it. So the devotees, however, they're free from that anxiety, because they're absorbed in chanting Krishna's names. And so they're on a higher transcendental platform. So as you say, this polarizes or makes even greater the distinction between the consciousness of devotee and the consciousness of one who's absorbed in materialistic activity. So this is a very effective time for preaching, because people will be looking for some security, some shelter. You can't find it in material life, actually. But you can find that shelter, that security in relationship with Krishna. So this Sankirtan process, it puts us immediately in contact with Krishna. As soon as you take it up, even after a few minutes, you start chanting. You feel transcendental bliss. I remember when I first went to the temple in London, and I used to hate going to London because it's a very big city. I like to stay in the country, some peaceful place, at least. Of course, you can never get away from your mind. But I always had this idea of peace in the country. And going to the big city was very kind of agitating and disturbing. So that I didn't like to go in the underground trains or walk in Oxford Street like that. But as soon as I went to the temple, the devotees, first they said, take some prasadam. And after prasadam, they said, all right, now it's Sankirtan. Come on, we're going chanting on Oxford Street. So then we went out, and I was in the Sankirtan party, and I can distinctly recall that chanting Hare Krishna on Oxford Street, I didn't feel any anxiety. We went all the way from one end to the other and all the way back again. And it was a very wonderful experience, even on Oxford Street. So in this way, the process of Harinam Kirtan, it lifts one to another level, so that he can remain undisturbed by whatever happens in this material world. So therefore, this is a peace form. This is the solution to bring people out of anxiety and to give them real security, eternal relationship with Krishna.
Maharaj, some people of the Christian faith use the argument that in the Bible it's predicted that the Third World War would start in the Middle East. And they say that our scripture hasn't predicted such a thing happening. So how do you respond to that?
Well, scriptures do predict so many horrible activities to take place in Kali Yuga, and not only this particular war, but you mentioned there'll be many, many such kinds of incidences as Kali Yuga progresses. So, some scripture may point out some particular incidences. Others may point out other particular instances. There are many, many things predicted in the Vedic scriptures. Yeah? For example, the appearance of Lord Buddha was predicted 2,500 years before he appeared. The appearance of Lord Chaitanya was predicted. The spreading of the Sankirtan movement was predicted. So there are many things predicted there, you see. So it's not that the scriptures are supposed to be like a calendar to give you every single event that's going to take place in the whole Kali Yuga. So just because the Bible, might pinpoint one, doesn't mean other scriptures are invalid. Vedic scriptures have predicted so many things.
Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the demoniac who are lost to themselves engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. So he's actually stating what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. They're lost to themselves. I mean, they don't understand who they are. They don't understand their spiritual identity and their relationship with God. They think that I'm his body. And on the basis of that thinking, they're harassing one another. It's like dogs, actually. You see sometimes dogs barking and fighting, isn't it? And it looks very unpleasant, but this is actually the consciousness. Now it's the sophisticated weaponry. They're barking and fighting with, bombs and rockets and so forth. Seemingly, it's very advanced, high technology.
Hare Traveling like this in Russia.
Really?
From Ireland.
How very nice. I've just recently was in Russia there a few months ago in Leningrad.
Yes, we had a big festival like this in Leningrad this summer.
Did you?
Right in the main palace square in front of the Winter Palace.
I see. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Now, you guys will have some reasonable photos of some of the Hare Krishnas on the main street of Arrowtown, won't you? That I can use for the mountain scene. Jolly good. Oh well, look, I wish you have a very pleasant stay here in Arrowtown, and I don't think there's probably been a more appropriate time than now for a festival for world peace, of course, as the world is sort of on the brink of international conflict. And I wish you very best of luck in your endeavours, and I hope that some of the people here will get time to reflect when they see this peace movement coming through town, and hopefully they will consider their own values and standards and how they their attitudes towards their fellow man, and I certainly hope that we get something out of it. I'm sure we will. Yes.
We'd like to present you with a garland, flower garland.
Thank you very much.
And also this is Bhagavad Gita. It's a 5,000 years old book, written in Sanskrit, and it's been translated into English by the founder of our movement, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Thank you very much indeed. That's very nice of you, and I shall read it with intent interest.
Thank you.
It makes, it just makes us all think that the way the world is developing and the way it has been over the last few years, that perhaps there is a better way for humans to conduct their lives, and especially politicians, and maybe you guys have the answer. I certainly look forward to reading it anyway.
Spiritual stuff also.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Where's your accent from?
From Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Jolly good. Oh, that's very good indeed. I wish you the best of luck anyway, Ted.
Would you like to come down and meet the bulls?
Yes. Absolutely. They provide you with a workhorse as well as milk and their byproducts.
It's like the founder, member of our movement, or it's an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we carry his footprints. In his feet he had this veins in our feet. His lines were actually in the soles of his feet. He was born like that. So it's like, and in his hands also he had that. So it's symbolically cut into every town and village. So just wondered if you'd like to Garland for us. In other words, honour his festival of going to every town and village of the world.
Certainly, my pleasure. I'll just put this over there?
Yeah, just put that over the feet. That's all we do.
It's the most appropriate time for such a group of people and such a message to people of the towns of New Zealand. And hopefully it'll have some impact, especially for the smaller, younger ones. It will have some impact to make people think about the world we live in. Hopefully we can establish and think about a better way of conducting our lives.
You'd like to walk down the street?
cutting their throat, their rivals coming back on hand and war.
You can't open the bag without a key, can you?
No, it's locked.